What's going on, guys? It's OT, the Lord of Knives, and I'm back between the banners, back with a whole bunch of knives. Today we're talking knives. This is a brand new segment in the channel where I not only talk about one knife, I talk about a whole bunch of knives. I talk about all the knives my heart desires, and today that is 11. These 11 knives here will help me explain to you guys why I think you should carry a second knife. If you guys are wondering what I'm drinking today, it's the Bullet Kentucky Straight Bourbon. So before we get into these knives, I would kindly ask you guys to just double shank that like button and then switch to the reverse grip and then double slash that subscription. Alrighty then, without further ado, let's get her going. So what I got in front of me is a group of what I consider secondary knives. But if these are secondary knives, what are primary knives? And I think you all know what a primary knife is. Something like a Griptilian or something like a PM2. A primary knife usually has a full handle, better steel, and a more reliable lockup than what I consider secondary knives. Now, I know I call them secondary knives, but if you're from Europe, then these very well may be primary knives, and that sucks. Alright, now that we know what a primary knife is, let me explain what a secondary knife is. Secondary knives usually are slip joints and they're non-locking. They're usually a bit smaller. Their handles aren't the most comfortable handles, and they find a home at the bottom of your pocket. But not all secondary blades are non-locking, as we'll get into in a bit. So how I break down secondary blades is I break them down into 4 different categories. We got the Swiss Army knives, the traditional knives, the multi-tools, and the locking blades. We're going to break down each category and see if any of these knives can benefit what you do in your daily life. So, let's do it. Alright guys, the first one up to bat are the Victorinox knives, or the Swiss Army knives. These are the quintessential secondary knives. When you say secondary knife, to me, the first thing that comes to mind is a Victorinox knife. And a big reason why I and many others carry the Victorinox knife is because of the multitude of tools that come with each one. Right here I have a 1 layer of tools, 2 layers of tools, 3 layers of tools, and 4 layers of tools. This here is the Victorinox driver with the 1 blade and the can opener and bottle opener. This is your standard Spartan. It's got the 2 blades and the can opener and the bottle opener. But this one is actually not a standard Spartan because this one has the blackened steel. It's actually a limited edition. I don't think you can get it. Sure is a beautiful knife. Then for the 3 layer, I got the Pioneer X. It comes with scissors. My scissors are broken right now. I will get those into the shop. Comes with the scissors. And the ones with the Allox scales don't come with the second blade. This one comes with the awl pike and bottle opener, can opener. The main difference between this one, the Deluxe Tinker, is it's got the pliers and also it has the scissors, but everything else is the same. You get the point though. Victorinox fills your pockets with a whole bunch of tools that actually do come in handy. I use these tools all the time. When I'm getting ready in the morning and I look at all my knives and I'm about to pick up 2 knives to carry for the day, most of the time for my secondary knife I do carry a Victorinox just because of how practical the tools are and how small the profile of these knives are. They just fall away in your pocket and you just don't even know it's there until you need it. Victorinox knives are great secondary knives, in my opinion, the best secondary knives. There's also other types of Swiss Army style knives. I know Boker makes some. I used to have a Boker Tech Tool Plus 5 or something. Volker makes really good Swiss Army knives. But the main reason why I use a Swiss Army knife on most days is because of this little tool right here. The toothpick. I have a gap between my teeth in the back there, and I can't let food chill there or you get a tooth infection. So guys, what I got in front of me here is some traditional knives, a pair of case knives and a buck knife. I just want to warn you guys about case knives. Once you start collecting them, it's hard to stop and they are a bit pricey. I only have 3 right now, but I do see myself having a whole bunch. A part of me inside actually just wants to stop collecting knives and start just collecting case knives. Traditional knives are the most beautiful. They have the best materials. They also patina pretty well to give it a little bit of character there. This here is the Case Texas Jack with the burnt jig bone handles and then the pinched nickel silver bolsters. The walk and talk on these knives is great. This is the CV pen knife. Got 2 little blades and it's a really thin profile with those brass liners. When you're buying a traditional knife, you're buying the fit and finish, you're buying quality materials and just a quality feel. These things don't come with pocket clips, they don't come with thumb stud openers. I mean, some of them do. They don't come with all that fancy stuff. These are the knives that your grandfather had and his grandfather had before him. I mean, literally just take a look at these knives and you can see the sheer collectability of traditional knives. This Buck 301 Stockman has the brass handles, or the brass bolsters, and the rosewood handle. And it is just absolutely beautiful. If you want an art piece in your pocket, if you want to pull something out and it just has amazing materials, amazing fit and finish, and just a classic look and feel, then look no further than a traditional knife, because I'm telling you guys, get a case knife in your hand. Case Knives just does it really well, guys. You guys gotta check them out. Case Knives. Alright guys, these are the little mini multi-tools, and we're getting into the greatest rivalry, or one of the greatest rivalries in all of knifedom. This is the Leatherman Squirt PS4 and the Gerber Dime. This here Leatherman Squirt is probably the best keychain knife you can ever have. People put this on their keychain and it never leaves. You want to know why? Because Leatherman makes just a good multi-tool. And no matter what size they choose to make, they're going to perfect it. With that being said, this little Gerber Dime though, it's pretty much a bottle opener with a multi-tool attached to it. Guys, if you are a serious beer drinker, if you drink beer every day, this is your knife. The Gerber Dime. Every time I'm going to like a barbecue or the beach or something and I'm going to be drinking a lot of beers, this is the knife that I reach for because of that bottle opener right there. It's the best in the business. These 2 things weigh nothing at all, under 3 ounces. This is kind of like the Swiss Army knives thing, where if you're a type of guy who just wants to have a bunch of utility and a bunch of little tools on you, although it's just a little guy, in a pinch this can actually get some work done. Same with the Gerber Dime. The one knock on the multi-tool though is they just don't have the biggest blades. Look at that. And I know a secondary knife is not supposed to, well in my books, is not supposed to have like the biggest blade, but you really can't do much with that. And that's why I reach for the Swiss Army knives more than I reach for one of these. Although these guys can still get the job done, and I highly recommend picking up one of these. So if you want a locking blade as your secondary, it probably means that you're doing some really hard work and you gotta just ask more out of your secondary. Maybe you're just cutting like a whole bunch of boxes, or you're cutting like a whole bunch of stuff and your edge gets wrecked and your knife gets sticky, and you need your second knife to be very capable and very reliable. Or if like your primary knife isn't that strong or reliable, this here is the Higo no Kami. It is a friction folder, and although it doesn't lock, I still would consider it a primary knife. But if I was going to take a knife like this out, I definitely want my secondary knife to be strong and sturdy and to lock, because this knife doesn't lock. I also got the Boker Urban Trapper. It is a gentleman's knife, and I know it's not expected to do a lot of the hard work, but I do want to warn you guys, this is a very weak lockup. I'm not going to show you guys, but okay, you know what? I'm going to show you guys. Look at this. Huh? So if you do have a knife like one of these two knives and it's just not the strongest knife, and you want to pair it with something that is strong and something that can back it up reliably, I would suggest either the Kershaw Shuffle 2. This is the Kershaw Shuffle 2. Although it is small, these finger grooves here give me an almost 4-finger grip, like kind of 4.5-finger grip. And it does lock up pretty well. I've used it on a whole bunch of boxes. It just tears right through them. The Open L6. It is a nail nick opening knife with a collar lock. But once you lock in that collar lock, that blade's just not going anywhere. Similar to the Shuffle, I can get I can get 4 fingers on there. I can get 4 fingers on there as a locking blade with, I think it was a 3 point, or just under 3 inches. I'm not 100% sure on that. We're not getting to the specs today, guys. We're just talking knives. Alright guys, final thoughts on why I think you should carry a secondary knife. These knives are the ones that lay on the wire for these knives to get across. Every Drew Brees needs his Tyson Hill. If you're a knife guy and you're only carrying one knife, then you're literally missing half the joy of being a knife guy. Use a secondary knife for all the sketchy cuts. Use it for all the things you don't want to use your main blade on. That's why I'm saying carry a secondary knife. Not only that, maybe you want some utility. Hopefully this video can convince you that you need a secondary knife. Guys, I think that'll do it for today. I'm starving. I'm deteriorating before your very eyes. Remember what they say, guys. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. And that's also what I say. I'm OT, the Lord of Knives. Stay sharp. Guys, I'm OT. I'm the Lord of Knives. I'm the Lord of Knives. But who's the King of Knives? It's probably Gideon's Tactical.